All right, guys, let's check out this new release from Gshock. This is the MTG-B2000 BD. There are 3 different colorways of this one, and my buddy Jerry sent this one over by way of Steve from JTM Watches, and these were originally a November 2020 JDM/Asia release, but the way I understand it, according to G Central, is they're also going to have some USA part numbers, but the black IN with the dark cherry red bezel like this one here is not going to make it to the US, is the way I understand the article. I'll put a link to it in the description. So this one is definitely going to be probably the most sought after one out of the 3, I suspect. Also, in my opinion, one of the best looking ones. There is an all silver one as well if you're looking for just a more traditional looking watch, but this one just looks spectacular with that. I'm going to call it like a dark cherry ion plating on that bezel. It's just so well done. All right, let's get right into things here. We'll start off with the size, but before I forget, I want to mention the weight, because in the unboxing, I honestly thought it was titanium because it felt so light for how the size is, but it's actually a carbon monocoque core design, and then it has a thin stainless steel metal around the outside of this for a triple Gshock rating, and then the bracelet is actually stainless steel and resin, so it's a dual composite type material. So I was wrong on the unboxing, and I caught some flack for it for sure, but when I unbox a watch, I typically don't know what's in the box, and I certainly haven't done my homework on the watch yet. So here we are, a little more knowledge based, still probably going to goof things up. Work with me, people. So 158 grams is what this thing weighs. That was with all the links. I pulled 3 links out to fit my wrist, so it's going to weigh a little bit less once you size it. Case size, to be fair, I have a couple measurements. I measured basically from excluding any crown guards or bumps. I measured from the mode to the light inner case size there at only 45.7. If you want the total width, including this bump and the crown, it's 51. So, but like I said, to be fair, 45.7. Lug to lug, 53. Thickness, 15.3. This bezel actually sits slightly proud of the domed sapphire crystal. There is AR coating on the underside. This is like this measurement here. I just grabbed it anyway for you guys. This measurement here is like 29 mil, and then it bracelet tapers down to 20 millimeter. Single fold over clasp. No additional keeper there. Double pusher for micro adjust, and it has the hard plastic bumpers here to, keep the desk diving scratches to a minimal on the clasp. So that is also nice. Quick look at the case back before we move on. You can see it is a resin or carbon monocoque design, and that's fully encapsulating the watch, and then the stainless bezel, or the main part of the body of the watch, actually kind of goes around it and is fastened together. So really, really well, heavy duty construction design on this thing. So it's going to be a beast of a watch, but still look just phenomenal. Price wise, I think they're around $1,000. I forget what the price on it. It was like 115,000 yen, so whatever the conversion is. And then on the US ones, I think they're going to be like 950 to 1,000, something like that. Using the module 5636, again, if you look at this tag here, you can see everything it has. That's the triple Gshock, the 200 meter, the super LED. I'm not really sure what that emblem is. That's the multi-band radio signal Bluetooth. It has the hand correction, AM, PM. I don't know. I don't know what all this stuff is. So you'll have to kind of fill the stuff out yourself. And there is a huge manual that comes with it. So if you want actual instructions, you can probably look online and look up the module 5636, or you can just read the manual. I'm going to cover basic stuff that is pretty intuitive to use on most Gshocks. Once you've owned a few Gshock, whether it's the digital ones or the analog ones, I think you pretty much get the gist of things and how it works. So real quick, we can kind of run through those, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the watch, because it's been about a year. I was looking at some old videos. It's been about a year since I showed the first MTG-B2000, and then now this is the 2000 release. So it is, in my opinion, it is starting to blur the lines between the MTG line and the MRG line. That's how nice this thing is. And the MTG-B2000 was already a phenomenal watch. This one is just elevating it to the point where newer MRGs are really going to have to, I don't know how they're going to do it because they're already such a phenomenal watch. They're going to have to go like another step above. So maybe that's what they're going to do. Maybe they're just going to keep improving both lines, hopefully. So if you run through the mode there, you can see over here on the right where the 3 o'clock is, it's the red hand is pointing towards S for Saturday. But if you hit the mode button, we're going to go to ST, that's stopwatch. And then this one here resets, so that because that's also part of the stopwatch function. And then you hit the start button, and it'll start your chronograph hand. At that point, it's no longer a seconds hand, it's a chronograph hand. All the while, your timekeeping is running in the background. So you can stop it, and then you can reset it up here. And then you can go to the countdown timer. You can see there to adjust to a countdown timer, so that one's going to run backwards. That's always kind of fun to do as well, because there's not a whole lot of watches that you can have an analog 3-hand like this one and run your seconds hand or chronograph hand or countdown timer hand in this case in reverse. So that's always just kind of fun. So you can reset that, and then you can go to alarm. I've never used or set an alarm on any of these watches. I would guess it's not too difficult, and it's probably plenty loud. If you use the alarm, figure it out. Read the manual. I'm not going to cover it. But you can see it's pointing towards OFF, otherwise known as off. And then you hit mode again, and it just cycles you back to the regular timekeeping. And even setting the time on these is pretty easy. It also is dual time, so you can set 2 different time zones. That's all done by this crown here. You unscrew this until it pops out. The first position that you pop out is going to be able to set that clock. And basically your seconds hand now becomes what time zone you want to set that in. So say I am going to track one of my out west buddies that are 2 hours behind me. You go ahead and click it 1, 2, and now you can see my dual timer is set for 2 hours behind my current time zone. Now to set my time zone, basically it's the same operation. You pop the crown out 1 more spot, and then you can adjust your time zone. So you go ahead and push that in, screw that back down. But you can also just connect to the Bluetooth, so these buttons are labeled A, B, C, D in the manual. And your D button here, you will hold that down for whatever seconds, and then it'll connect to your Bluetooth on your phone, Android or iOS, and you'll be able to download the Gshock app, have that first and then connect, and then you can do all these functions right from your phone. You can adjust everything, and there's probably even more settings that you can do. I had not connected this one because this isn't my watch, this is Jerry's watch, and once you pair it, you kind of have to like unmarry it and everything like that to get it to operate. You can see in both time zones, I forgot to point this out too, in both time zones, you have 24-hour or AM, PM indication. So in your dual time down here, you can see it's still pointing towards the AM. That little subdial down there, it's pointing towards A for AM. And then if it goes around, it'll go to post meridian. So if you go towards the top here, you can see there's another subdial up there. You can see it's a 24-hour clock, and that is just helping you recognize that you are still in the AM or in the morning still. Pretty simple operation. There is Loom on this guy, and there's a killer backlight or LED light, which will be operated by the light button here. So that's just a simple explanation of it. I think I gave you some close-ups and overall construction. One other thing I want to talk about before we do a wrist shot and loom shot are the sizing of the links. Check this out. So here's the links. Let's do a little close-up. So you can see it's all composite on the bottom side, very comfortable on wrist. And then it's shelled out in stainless steel. And then these are the pins. There is no collar. These are just friction fit. Now, they fit pretty loose on the outer part. Where it gets its friction from is in the center part. It's tighter. So once it starts to go in, and then, excuse the autofocus. So once it starts to go through this part, it's loose, and then it goes into the center part of the link, and then it stops, and it hits resistance. That's plastic inside. So it's captured. I don't know if it's a metal piece captured in there or if it's just plastic anyway, but once you size this once, you're probably going to be all set. It's actually very easy to size. It's not complicated at all. I'm not even going to go through and show you how to do it because I just kind of explained it. It's really that easy. Basically, I pushed the link out. You don't even, I mean, you can do it even freehand, really. You can just push this out, and then I grabbed some really good grippy pliers. I might catch flack for this, but this is how I do it, guys. Once you grab these really nice, good grippy pliers, you can grab that pin and it will slide right out. And then to put it back in, it's the same operation. You can do it freehand. You just push it in, and I guess I am kind of explaining to you how to size it. So you can just push that in and push it against a hard surface if you want, and kind of line up the holes. And then once you get it to that point, you just do your final adjustment by hand and try to center that pin ever so slightly without going too far one way or the other, and you're done. That's it. Very easy to do on this one. So, oh, another thing, check this out. I'm not sure why they did it or if they're going to sell other ones, but it has a quick release bracelet on it, and it's actually really easy to do, and it has a nice heavy duty, if I can get my fingernails in there to get it as I'm hitting buttons and stuff. So it does come out, and you can see it has a nice heavy duty spring bar in there. It's actually really beefy looking. So this isn't a screw link in there. So on the, if you guys remember on the MTG-B2000, a lot of people were griping about these free spinning and making noise and stuff like that. So maybe it was just to stop that from happening. I don't know. But also, you know, if they have resin straps that you might be able to put on there or whatever like that. So so I struggled putting it back on a little bit, but you're not going to be pulling that on and off anyway. So once we get this thing on wrist, you can see there is what it looks like on my 7¼ inch wrist. Now, you guys got to keep in mind, these always look, I mean, they are a larger watch, but they always look a little bit larger in pictures or in video because, you know, you have to get the lens further away from the wrist to be able to see what it looks like. I mean, it wears and feels great on wrist. There's no hot spots. It floats around nice. But yet it's balanced. It's not top heavy or anything like that. And it's just a phenomenal looking watch. One of the best looking Gshock analogs that I've ever tried personally. And I don't know what mode I have it on, but put it back to timekeeping. All right, let's kill the lights and check the Loom on this guy. And then we will do the backlight as well. And I can hold it up and compare it to a couple other watches too, just for the kicks of it. But you can see really nicely loomed all the way around. You do have a larger, wider Loom up at the 12 for orientation, and then the hour and minute hand are in a blue color, so you have green and blue Loom on this. Sorry for the focus there. And then once you light it up, it is very bright and it lights up the whole dial, no problem. So for size comparison, I can show a couple different watches here. We can show it next to the Frogman, so you can see the Frogman there is a beast next to it. A GA 2100 or 2110, not a whole lot bigger really than that. So if you're wearing some of these Gshocks, you know, you can go upscale and you'd be fine. There it is next to my Seamaster. So awesome watch. Big thanks to Jerry for sending this over and letting me check it out, share it with you guys, and also Steve over at JTM Watches for hooking Jerry up, and myself, because he got me that other limited edition white square. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next vid.